Conference play. Iowa State is led by one of the less talked about stars in the conference in Sammy Williams.
Yeah, I mean, look at these numbers. She's being able to produce. She's batting .413 right now, Tyler. She's in that leadoff position. She's got 11 doubles on the season, which is second just behind Reagan Hathaway for Texas. So she's leading it. She's actually written her name in the career book already for Iowa State with doubles. She crossed that line with 42. And she's continuing to grow that number too as she just keeps hitting doubles.
Playing for head coach Jamie Pinkerton in his second season at the helm. 9th head coach in program history, was previously an assistant at Iowa State from 2009 to 2013, left to start a D1 program at Montana, won the Big Sky tournament in his 3rd year there. The lineup for the Cyclones starts at the top with Williams, followed by Carter, Wolpert, Bosworth, Neerad, Simpson, Stites, Shaban, and Cottle.
Yeah, Sammy Williams, again, we talked about her in the open. She goes, they go. That's exactly what Coach Pinkerton says. And of course, when you look at those numbers, you understand why. She's going to get herself on. She's got speed from the right side, too. I think Texas defense going to play her pretty straight up. You've got to, because she's got the power as well. Don't be surprised if she decides to lay one down, too.
In the circle, the aforementioned junior, Miranda Ellis. Right-hander from Crown Point, Indiana. Second team All-American at Oregon last year. 1.86 ERA. 7-4 on the year. Leads the team in starts. This her 13th. Has 7 complete games. 4 shutouts to the card thus far across her 71 1/3 innings pitched.
Right now, wow, 71 miles an hour. She is bringing it tonight, Tyler. We knew that she threw hard, right? She's usually living around 68, can top out at 70. But just watching how fast that got on Sammy Williams there, I had to take a look. But yeah, that one, 71, she throws hard. She throws that drop, has a great change. And new to her resume this year, or let's just say she throws it a lot more, is that rise ball. And that's where we've seen her get quite a few strikeouts.
Leads the team with 108 strikeouts, has walked 26 batters. Is ahead 1-2 to Williams. Williams on the year, .413, leads the team in average. Popped up, Iacopo diving for it, can't secure the ball in the glove. Sammy Williams on a career-high 16-game hitting streak, 2 shy of the Iowa State program record. Began all the way back on February 24th, a junior from Laguna Niguel, California. Over those last 16, a .544 average, 8 doubles, 2 triples, 4 home runs, 14 runs batted in for the program record holder in doubles. Number 2 in career average. And Megan, she is a software engineering major that carries a 4.0 GPA. Quite impressive young student athlete. This one inside, fisted to short. The grab made by Mackenzie Parker. Defensively for Texas, Shannon Rhodes will be at third, Parker at short, just mentioned. Jefferson at second. Lauren Burke first, Iacopo behind home. In the outfield, it will be Caitlin Washington, Reagan Hathaway, and KK Hyder left to right.
And I feel like just right now you're watching Miranda Ellis go right at these batters. That's something that we know Texas pitchers like to do. They need to attack the strike zone. But what I'm watching her do is go hard and inside now. Tyler, you're seeing her go and attack both lefty and righties on that inside part of the plate. And why not? That one at 67. But if you're going to throw your first pitch of the game around 71, I'd keep that right inside. And that is nearly impossible to get your hands inside on, especially when you're throwing it up and down.
Hannah Carter, the batter at the plate.
71 again.
Junior left fielder from Altoona, Iowa. Started her career at the JUCO level playing for Bellevue, where she was the NSAA co-newcomer of the year. 204 average on the year for Carter. Last time we saw Texas at home, talked a lot about Ellis and maybe a little bit of the ups and downs we saw throughout even the course of the game. Lots of strikeouts and then maybe some innings, a couple walks. We talked with Texas head coach Mike White, as you see on the left there, now in the center of your screen, about Ellis. Talking about where she's losing it. It's on that right side of the plate.
It's probably that pitch right there that we just saw, actually.
And what is it about that pitch?
I think it's just more that she's trying to get him to chase. That's a 2-2 count, right? And it's just not getting that pitch called a strike. And that one's a little off. So it's working with her and Mary Iacopo behind the dish trying to get that one called.
Also something Coach White mentioned, Iacopo and her framing sits tall behind the plate. So just something to keep an eye on.
Well, these are the things, Tyler, right? When you're talking about a team, there's not a lot of bad to talk about. You're looking at these numbers. Where can you get better? You know, it's just where do you get better?
1.47 ERA as a team, the cumulative ERA.
But even, you know, she has 108 strikeouts, but we say she has 26 walks. That's a great ratio. At the end of the day, that is what every coach dreams of for their pitcher to have. However, Coach White obviously has much higher expectations. We know this because of his resume at Oregon, what he was able to put together. But that is something we've watched of her lately. Earlier in the season, maybe one walk. It was that Minnesota game, I think, that we really saw something change in her. I think it started back in Arizona. We didn't get to go to that trip. But it was the ASU game, and she just wasn't able to fight back after those walks. But
this is exactly what Coach White has talked about, though. It's not her stuff, hitters. Maybe sitting on some of the changeup, but the swings and misses still there, as you see.
Yep.
She sits down Sally Woolper.
Yep, goes with that rise ball. And when she's battling, throwing hard and in,
has this program ranked 11th in the country, 26-6. The offense is there, the pitching is there. And now they get to set their sights on what they can do in conference play. This Texas team finished 4th in the Big 12 the last 2 years. They last won the Big 12 conference in 2010. As we take a look at the Texas hitting lineup, and the story, as it sometimes tends to always be, Janae Jefferson, she is currently 2nd in the NCAA in total hits.
Yeah, just one shy of the first place at 45s. Janae Jefferson just continues to find ways to get it done, even in her sophomore year. Most people go through that sophomore slump. I'm pretty sure her sophomore slump was the first weekend of the opening weekend.
454 is quite a sophomore slump. So you see Jefferson in the on-deck circle, as has been the case for most of the year. Reagan Hathaway at the top. Redshirt junior from Lenexa, Kansas. 387, Big 12 leader in doubles with 12. OBP of 477. Leads the team in walks as well with 16. 36 hits on the year. Great table setter. That 1-2 combination has been rock solid at the top of the order for Texas. And their offensive production that has gone up dramatically this season. Look at the breakdown compared to last year after 32 games. Texas scoring nearly 3 more runs per game, 2.8. Batting average has gone up 0.076 from 263 last year to 339. Hits are up +70. The doubles, which obviously Hathaway, a huge part of that, her having missed all but one at bat last year. 32 games through last year, Megan, 36 doubles as a team. This year, Texas already with 60. One into the glove, though, of Hannah Carter in left field. 1 up, 1 down. In the circle, Emma Hyland, senior from Roseville, Minnesota. 23 starts last year, career high 11 wins this year, 9-3 record. 10th game started, 7 complete games, 1 shutout. 71 in the 3rd innings pitched for Highland.
you're going to expect out of Emma Highland is she's going to keep it in the low 60s, around 63, 64. I think she can rev it up to around 67 if she's feeling good. But she throws that drop ball. She's got a great change. And expect a lot of ground balls out of her. This defense knows that about her. They know she's not a big strikeout pitcher. But, man, she can produce quite a bit of ground balls.
It's a remarkably improved Iowa State defense, fielding at a 976 clip. That's third in the Big 12, but it's 18th in the country.
It's got to tell you something about Big 12 defense right now, huh?
Absolutely. Also, big reason why these Cyclones in a much better position. Their third best winning percentage going into conference play. 17-10, having one game coming in, but 8 of their last 9. 6 wins away from last year's win total of 23 that saw the Cyclones finish 6th in the Big 12, but they attained their highest RPI in program history. Went 0-3 at the Big 12 tournament. Picked to finish 6th in the conference this year. 3-1 pitch. Texas picked to finish 2nd in the Big 12. Oklahoma picked to win for the 10th time in the last 11 years. Texas hopes to dethrone the Sooners. Jefferson figures to be a big part of that. She earns a walk.
How about that? Just her 4th walk on the season. I was getting ready to say when Hathaway was up, I think the big reason why they have her in that leadoff is she takes a lot more pitches than Jefferson usually, and that's what you want out of a leadoff. But with 16, Jefferson has no problem swinging at the first pitch either.
That's how you get 44 hits. You mentioned just one off. Brianna Roper of Georgia Tech, who leads the NCAA. Jefferson 28th in batting average. So now this is where the pieces have moved around throughout the course of the year. 3 on down as Ellis will be in the 3-hole. Average is great at 377. She has 26 hits, 7 doubles, 3 home runs for the second team All-American last year. 17 runs batted in. Just 3 strikeouts. For one of the better two-way players, pitching and hitting-wise, you will find in the country.
Coach White just said he's still trying to figure out his middle piece of the lineup. Now, the good news is when you look at all their batting averages, they're all, I mean, you got her and Miranda Ellis, Iacopo hitting around nearly the exact same 377, 378. They can be interchanged. You have Lauren Burke. I think he's moved her up a lot because she's been able to produce with the RBI. So sometimes that's all that matters, right? You get Hathaway or Jefferson on, you need to find someone to keep that rally going. Although they only have 6 losses, in those losses, that's usually the case. Can't help but go back to that Minnesota loss when the top of the order, the 2 of them were 6 for 6, and unfortunately 3, 4, 5 couldn't find a way to get them in.
Ellis laces that in for a base hit. So Texas will have 2 on with 1 out.
A good at-bat by Miranda Ellis. She does such a nice job staying inside of balls. I mean, a lot of times she's going to hit it to left field. This ball nearly golfing it off the ground. Able to barrel up just enough to poke it into left field.
And Megan, to go back to your point, 2 of those losses of the 6 to Minnesota where Texas struggled in that quasi-conference series in terms of the setup as Mary Iacopo is at the plate. Ellis was about halfway to second base, but the catcher Bosworth up in time. But Texas had struggled with runners in scoring position in that series. Across the course of the year, Texas has hit 331, so they've done a great job on the whole, capitalizing opportunities with runners to score.
Tyler, take a look at this defense setup here. Now you've got a runner in scoring position. First of all, I don't think a lot of people would have thought Iacopo was going to show bunt in that first time, but third baseman, first baseman, both pulling in. Shaven, I mean, this is their number 4 hitter, and she has no problem being in their face. I'm scared for her.
That one cranked right back up the middle. It was Highland that moved out, but it goes into the glove of Miranda in center for the second out.
But I was almost thinking, I don't know if they see something out of Coach White. They do use the signals, right? And they're taking their signs off their wrist guard. It was like they almost anticipated first pitch, and like you saw, Miranda Ellis was almost to second. Then I want to go back 2 batters. I'm kind of surprised Jefferson didn't steal. Usually Coach White likes to steal on that very first pitch. I think that has everything to do with Bosworth behind the dish. And she's been fairly successful this season as a catcher. She's nearly 50% throwing out those base runners. And if she can keep Jefferson from running, that's going to help them on defense.
Lauren Burke cuts at the first pitch. The force will be at third, relayed by Williams to Shaven. So Texas gets back here at McCombs Field, second inning. Texas gets a base hit, gets 2 on, but Highland in the circle, and the defense for Iowa State delivers. Taking some picks out at the ball field.
Cookham's out today. It's not an everyday occurrence here at McCombs. Start a conference play. When's Bevo coming out? Tonight, I don't know.
You got the pull. That's on you.
CDC's been coming to the game. Maybe Bevo's next.
5, 6, 7 due up for the Cyclones. Starts with Taylor Nearad, the sophomore from Salone, Iowa. It's a team that hits 254, 6th in the Big 12, 197th in the country. They average 3.89 runs per game, 5th in the conference, 179th in the country. Ellis has now thrown 7 straight strikes since the walk she issued to Carter.
I feel like right now you're just watching, this looks like a backdoor curve. Actually, you see exactly where Iacopo sets up. Like she wanted that well off the plate. Ball breaks back over.
Second strikeout of the contest for Ellis. First pitch swung on by Simpson. Goes to Jefferson to Burke. 2 up, 2 down.
You know, I know this coaching staff here for Texas has to get used to me a little bit, Tyler, but I'm waiting for the day I can come out here and maybe catch a bullpen, just so I can really see how these pitchers are throwing and exactly how they move.
Now you've put it out into the universe.
I know, I sure have.
6 of 6 first pitch strikes for Ellis.
I need to start coming out before the games.
Not
like earlier in the week when they're actually practicing.
Not doing, you know, like yoga.
Oh, they're not throwing. I'm not going to catch her game day.
Sydney Stites, senior from Bozeman, Montana, started her career at Montana, where she was the Big Sky Freshman of the Year in 2016, playing for Coach Pinkerton. Ball on the ground, a chance for a quick inning as Parker relays the throw. 1, 2, 3, 6 pitches for Ellis and the Texas DTU coming off a midweek doubleheader against number 11 Arkansas, the team that ended their season last year. They lost the first game 11-4 and won 7-6. Catch that all Wednesday on LHN. Stream it live. Game starting and you hit like that, she's going to continue to be the starter at short.
Absolutely. Talk about taking advantage, Tyler. I feel like every time she comes up now, she has a big swing. She's building that confidence. She's getting more and more comfortable in the batter's box. This pitch up in the zone, a great job with her hands. As Texas likes to say, stays on playing.
So the Longhorns will start with the leadoff hitter on, Shannon Rhodes. Junior from Fort Worth, Texas. Another one of the quartet of Oregon transfers. Last year's second team all-region player. Tied for the team lead. 2-out RBIs. Obviously no outs on the board here, but a clutch hitter throughout the season thus far. As of late, seen that average dip a little bit. Now sub 300 at 296. Does have a team high 15 strikeouts. 6 doubles, 3 home runs. That one sent sharply over to the third baseline. Rhodes will be safe, as will Parker.
So you saw Rhodes go with the push bunt. Luckily, because of the defense that they were in, no one was covering second, so the only play was at first. So that actually worked out really well for Texas. I feel like if that was played straight up, they might have been able to get someone over at second.
An error will be charged to Casey Simpson, the second baseman wearing number 1. You saw she was the one covering the bag. It was that foot that was not on the bag, at least from the replay and the angle that we saw, that slipped back on the dirt, that allowed Rhodes to be safe over at first.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I was too busy watching the runner at second. I didn't realize they actually called her safe. I think her toe still swipes it. What do you think?
I don't think she got it. You see that left foot, it wasn't anchored on the bag when she caught the ball, and then it looked like she just picked up dirt. It ultimately doesn't matter what we think or see.
Yeah.
Ruling on the field, so she is safe. So Texas once again will have 2 runners on after the sack in the air for Caitlin Washington.
Caitlin Washington needs to watch her back foot there. Coming over the plate for that bunt. Last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, we saw almost 4 or 5 batters get called for having a foot out of the box there.
Washington, the junior from Humble, Texas, 344 on the year with runners in scoring position. Right now, just trying to push those 2 over and get 2 into scoring position. Third teamer in the NFCA Central Region last year, 311 on the year, 17 runs batted in for the lefty.
It's a good pitch there by Highland. Not sure where that one missed. Interesting, almost looks like she was going with a push bunt as well. I have to think that has a lot to do with the corners and how hard they're crashing on the bunt. Fortunately, still needs to be able to get that down in this situation.
So now the count moves to 2-2. Off speed there, 51 miles an hour from Highland. Talked to Coach White about maybe some of the minor blemishes, very minor hitting wise. Said that the off speed tends to give him some trouble. And they're getting played very deep at corners, hard to drive the ball through the infield. This one will be on the ground, a chance for 2. Cyclones get just 1. No, again, Simpson out of bag, this time at second base. Thought the call initially was that Rhodes would be out, but Texas will have the bases loaded.
Wow. And that he's just gonna, and she was on the bag, so they're just gonna say that the ball completely beat her. Or excuse me, that the runner beat the throw. So she gets it. I mean, she gets rid of it. And she couldn't, and you know why she had to stay back on that ball. So this is the reason, is because she goes and charges that ball. She hits the runner. However, if she would have hit the runner's out. So I guess that could have been her only play. It's unfortunate series of event here for Iowa State.
So Washington reaches and what's scored as a fielder's choice. Now the 9-hole and KK Hyder with the bases loaded.
This is tough for Emma Highland, man. She gives up that single, but goes and able to produce 2 ground balls, the hard bunt and another ground ball to shortstop, potentially a double play ball, and here they have bases loaded, no outs.
That's something that Iowa State, you talk about their defense, they have done much better this season, turning that double play. They lead the conference in doing such with 15. They turned 17 all of last season. Now Emma Highland.
And unfortunately, again, I do think Simpson's in the right place. She just picks the wrong hop, and unfortunately the ball eats her up and then shoots out to right field. I have to think she usually makes this play in her sleep, and I have to imagine that Coach Pinkerton's thinking, man, I knew I shouldn't have talked about this in our interview. He said he was going to jinx it.
Hathaway right on the first pitch. Nearad there to make the grab for the out. Runners hold, and to your point, Simpson had been moved into the starting lineup at second. 20 games started now, this her 21st. She had no errors coming in, 32 putouts and 30 assists. Had talked to us about the defense and how they'd improved, and really up the middle with Simpson being a big reason for that. But 2 errors going to the freshman second baseman from Keller, Texas. Texas second time through here, very aggressive. What we've seen from Hathaway, Jefferson, Ellis laying off and taking the ball. Second pitch. "17 runs batted in." There's Kay Wash. 318 is Ellis with runners in scoring position. Puts a charge into this one out to right field, but short of the track. Cottle there to make the grab. So a couple of errors from Casey Simpson. Texas, a couple of hits. They capitalized to the tune of 3 runs. Longhorns lead as we head to the third. Texas, but 2 errors by the Cyclones. Longhorns able to plate 3 runs. Give the ball back to Miranda Ellis, who since the walk to the second batter of the game in Carter has thrown 10 pitches, all strikes, gotten 5 outs. Only 1 swing and a miss. 8-hole hitter in Shaban. Logan, a junior from Portsmouth, Iowa. Started her career at Harlan Community College. .212 hitter on the year.
I have to bring it up. Do they not know this song's Bo Bamba? And it's a Texas basketball player.
Hey.
Basically firing Texas up with that cheer, don't you think?
Possibly.
Maybe they don't know that.
I don't think.
I think the cheers have gotten way better than.
The cheers this year.
I know.
Yeah, this is by far. The creativity level and the repurposing of certain songs, it's very impressive.
Beats. Did you know the softball players are they can do the beats?
Yeah.
You get drums, they get creative.
2-2. Ellis to Shaban.
Man, there's something different right now, Tyler, with Miranda Ellis in the circle. She's thrown with a little bit more grit. She's coming in a little bit harder, more confidence, and then she's going in on the batters and right in on their hands. On the flip side, Iowa State swinging at those inside pitches, and they're attacking. First pitch, doing a pretty good job laying off that rise ball like you just saw there by Shaban, but What I like also, Shaven knows she's throwing inside. She's still toeing up. That back foot is right on the lines. It's almost like they're trying to bait her to throw inside. Haven't seen anyone barrel it up quite yet, though.
Gets her looking. Third strikeout of the game. Second batter that Ellis has gotten looking.
And that's the pitch that, if it isn't called a strike, seems to be the one that go back and get Ellis. This time right on the corner. You see the way Iacopo gets around it. It's a great job.
Now the 9-hole, senior Kristen Cottle. Perfect 9 for 9. Ellis through the order with first pitch strikes. Coach White, I think, made a great point about Ellis, her effectiveness. Said it's very rarely a straight line. That's usually what people expect in terms of progress throughout the season, that you build, keep going up, but it's not always the case. The season's filled with ups and downs, and maybe 5 steps forward, 3 steps back. Ellis, when you look at the body of work as a whole and what she has brought to this Texas staff, big reason why Texas has that number 11 ranking, 26-6 record, and part of that staff as a whole that we talked about at the top of the show, Shaylin O'Leary has been remarkable. Ellis continues to deal back-to-back strikeouts.
And she's getting more and more fired up. That react was awesome. I think, again, because you're watching her get the results of the pitches that she's been working so hard with. Again, this is that outside corner. It looks like she is working the backdoor curve. And now she's able to get it at the knees and getting a nice break back over the plate.
Top of the order again in Williams. Just a different time of year now with conference play. Players knowing that. These ones matter just a little bit more. Texas has dominated this series against the Cyclones all time. 53-3, 22-3 here in Austin. Last year in Ames, Texas swept the series 8-5, 8-0, and then 11-4. But Megan, you go back to 2017. Longhorns lost the series to the Cyclones, 2-1 here in Austin. First ever series victory for Iowa State over Texas. Rhodes trying to get to that ball.
You go back 2 years ago, that's when Jamie Traxel took over at Iowa State. She was there for just 1 season, but then you take a look at what she brought from North Dakota State. She's now the head coach at Minnesota. But then last year, Jamie Pinkerton comes in, takes probably the lead, what Traxel started, goes ahead and starts building up 45 home runs as a team last year, starts building on those wins and building a new culture. I believe, I truly believe, just from watching this team since when I played here and then over the past 7 seasons of calling games, this is a team that's definitely transformed culture-wise. And it's the way they play, the way that they handle the ball, the way that they swing the bat. Much more, I think, sure of themselves.
Was a head coach at Tulsa from 01 to 04, then Arkansas 05 to 09, goes to 2 NCAAs with those teams, did Pinkerton in 2008 and 2009, then launches the program at Montana. There for 3 years, they go to the NCAA tournament. Longhorns over the Cyclones of Iowa State. And Megan, how's this for brutal? Iowa State, and by virtue of where they play in Ames, Iowa, 27 games. They haven't played a game at home yet. Track this. They start their season in Tallahassee, Florida. From there, they go to Palo Alto, California. Then they go to Charleston, South Carolina. So you've been across the country 2 times now. From Charleston, they go back out to California, San Luis Obispo. Then they play in the Eastern Fullerton Invite. So they have yet to play at home. This is usually the norm for them, as the first pitch rocketed out into center field, the swing from Iacopo, but they have been on the road all year.
Yeah, and then it's not like they're just staying on the road. They still have to make the plane trip back to Ames. Just enough time to sleep, maybe go to a class or two, get back on the road. And then, as you're saying, they hadn't had practice on dirt till last week in California. That's unbelievable. And that first practice was only, he said, what, like an hour left of daylight that they were able to get on out there?
Another one sent out to center field, getting quite a bit of work is Miranda. You look at the Hathaway, Jefferson at bat, Iacopo, and now Burke have all flown out to center field. But how about this? 7 of their last 83 games have been at home. 7 of 83 for the Cyclones, the only Power 5 team last year to have less than 12 home games. They will finally get a home contest, hosting the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Currently ranked.
Sounded like weather permitting, too.
14th and 12th in the country. Mackenzie Parker is 1 for 1 on the evening, but that was really the message from Pinkerton when he spoke to us about doing their part, trying to bring up the conference. We'll speak with Texas head coach Mike White when we come back. His team leads by 3, a 1-2 field in Austin, Texas. Conference play kicking off. The Longhorns leading the Cyclones 3-0, joined by Texas head coach Mike White. And coach, this is really a definitive moment in the season when you turn from non-conference to conference play. What do you like about where your team is at right now kicking off conference play?
Well, I think we're swinging the bats pretty good. We've hit a lot of balls hard. I like that. Scored 3 runs. We're up right now. Miranda's pitching pretty well, getting ahead of hitters. So just got to keep it going.
And as far as Miranda Ellis goes, I feel like she has a little bit different presence out there tonight. Her first pitch of the night was 71 miles per hour, Coach. You know, anything to attribute to that?
Well, I think she had a good outing on Monday, a near no-hitter, and she built some confidence on it, and we worked on some stuff in the bullpen with her rhythm, and she seems to like it so far, so hopefully it's all good.
Did you guys enjoy your time away from Texas?
It was good to get home. It's always good to get home.
Well, we're good to have you. Glad to have you back and enjoying the time speaking with you and seeing you throughout the weekend.
Thanks. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.
Tyler Denning, Megan Willis, here in Austin with you as well. First of 3 games between the Longhorns and the Cyclones, as is the format in conference play. Hannah Carter start off the inning for Iowa State. Walked her first at bat.
Well, the other thing I'm noticing, Tyler, with Ellis is, A, she's very deceptive. I'm trying to decide what it is that she's throwing out there, and had to ask Coach when we're in commercial break, because to me, watching the ball come out of her hand, the way that she's flipping her wrist, it does look like she's throwing a curveball, and it also, that pitch to me looks like a curveball out of her hand. On the outside corner to a lefty, it looks like she was throwing a backdoor, and he said, no, not a backdoor, but she will throw a low rise, and so that's where I'm trying to figure out. And if I'm a lefty and I can't figure it out from the angle I have here, a lefty trying to see the right-handed pitcher and her hip kind of in the way, I just have to imagine that's helping her case right now. Just very deceptive with her release point. Again, I want to catch her. That's the only way I guess I'll really figure it out.
Well, we should have asked Coach. Rearing back and striking out. Carter there, number 5 on the evening for Ellis.
But I might want to be sitting on a bucket. I don't know that I can squat a whole lot anymore. That's a great rise ball right there. That is not a low rise. That's exactly where you want it when you're ahead of the count.
They don't have catcher's pose in yoga?
Yeah, I do. Isn't that like frog? Yeah, it's frog.
I would say so.
I mastered the frog pose.
4 years and then some.
Yeah.
4 years collegiately.
I played up until I was 30.
Well, and on top of the time before that, how many years catching?
Oh, man. Probably 15.
Wolpert into foul territory. Burke couldn't quite make the grab. Struck out. First time up. There's another one.
A lot of this has to do with the fact that Miranda Ellis is getting ahead of these batters. She's able to move the ball around the strike zone. It helps she's got a little extra fire behind it tonight, too.
Well, I think you picked up on it and saw it quickly and said it quickly. She gets Bosworth to the fan at the first pitch, but she just seems to have Ellis a little more juice in the circle tonight, whether it be maybe some of the rest, recuperation from spring break. Team, I think, got a couple days on the back end of last week.
It's amazing what that will do for you.
Jefferson flings it over to first. 1-2-3 inning defensively.
Reiterate to the team to stick to the game plan and just try to put the ball in play.
As far as Emma Highland in the circle, I feel like you look at this game and there really shouldn't be the 3 runs on the board. What is the message you keep continuing to give to her? Because I feel like she's doing her part. Is it more of a message to your defense, or is it to her to stay the course?
Well, I just talked to him after the second inning, after we had that inning. We haven't, I don't think we've made 2 errors in a game all year,
Nope.
much less in an inning, and just told him we needed to settle in and make plays, and we made some uncharacteristic errors in that inning. We made a couple of mental errors on where we went on bases. On the bunt, we had an opportunity to go to second base, and then we made an error on the ground ball. And you can't give a team like Texas the opportunities. You can't give them 5 outs, and that's what we did. We gave too many outs, and it turned into a crooked number. And to beat this team, you can't give up crooked numbers.
Coach, we appreciate the time.
Yep, thank you.
Shannon Rhodes will lead off the inning for Texas. The 2 errors ties a season high. It's happened 4 times preceding this ball game. Twice in 1 inning, and that's the difference, part of the difference thus far. Ball tails inside and catches.
Well, I'm glad that
Rhodes.
he mentioned that bunt at second, which is how I missed the fact that they had the error at first base, because they did have her dead at second base, because that was that push bunt situation.
Coach Pinkerton gave a ton of credit to his players. For most of them, last year their 3rd coach in 4 years. Said that the initial reaction was, oh, here we go again, but they handled it, he said, almost like professionals. But they've come in and put in a new system, have really bought in well. Last year they finished with their highest RPI they've had in the RPI era. This year, a lot more comfortable, shows in the numbers. The buy-in has been complete. Highest recruiting class ranking in program history. They have 8 seniors on this roster that combined for 280 starts last year. Just trying to build on that 23-win season. Just 4 wins, though, in Big 12 play last year. That one, a hot shot to third. It bounces off the glove of Shaban. So Washington on, advancing Rhodes to second as well.
Truly, I think you have to tip your cap to the seniors and the juniors, right? The 3rd coach for them in 3 years. Well, that would have been last year, but still, it depends on how they handle that, right? And they're the upperclassmen. If they're not going to buy in, no one else is going to buy in. So the fact that they were able to do that, they put in the work last year. You saw the numbers, you saw them advance. I think is exactly what puts them in the position they are this year.
Well,
just listening to him talk, not even about his players, but even giving credit to his staff, and he just feels like the way that they've been able to manage their team. Courtney Martinez new, she's first year, and she's been working with that defense. He credited their defense this year all to her and how she's worked with them. She came over, she was the associate head at UNLV. just doing a great job.
As for that defense, the numbers have been better. Talked about that. Said they're doing a better job at seeing the field, making the right decisions. And when you look at the errors that are on the board, that error going to Shaban over at third, they're really very close plays that could have gone either way. That was a very hard hit ball off the bat of Washington that just slides underneath the glove. So 3 errors. Hyder, the benefactor of 1.
I will go with you on that, Tyler. That was a shot down third baseline. And yes, she is producing ground balls, but Texas has barreled up quite a bit. Though it only shows that they have 2 hits on the ball, there have been some screamers to the outfield.
Lead out down over at third base. Rhodes will head into the dugout.
That was a big time heads up by the pitcher, Emma Highland. Especially knowing the speed of KK Hyder. She gets that ball and tries to go to first. It would have been pretty close, but able to know exactly where she's at. She doesn't hesitate one bit. Ball takes her just a bit to that side. That's a perfect position or perfect play.
So the lead runner down. One out in the top of the order for Texas. You talk about those hard hit balls. It was Hathaway and Jefferson cutting at first pitches. Hard hit to center field. Their second time up. Texas, though, 0 for 7 runners in scoring position thus far this evening. The 4th inning has been owned by Texas this year. They outscore opponents 63-8.
Well, the 4th inning has a lot to do with second and third time through the lineup. This time you see Hathaway make the adjustment on the changeup. She stays inside the ball, barrels it up, drives it right back up the middle. Unfortunately, I don't think Taylor really knew exactly where she wanted to throw it. She throws it right into second. Must not be thinking Washington's going to try to score on that. I think she comes up throwing all the way in, hits your cut up in the middle of the field. Maybe you have to play at home.
17th RBI on the year for Hathaway, who charges into second base. Gets her 6th stolen base. Texas 46 will retreat back to first. Second run of the inning, 5th of the ball game.
Another great piece of hitting here by Jefferson, and I have to think of where she hit it. Hathaway had to hold up just a tad. Almost surprised Coach White held up Hathaway. Good cut off this time, though, going in and hitting your cut, not throwing to second. I think Pinkerton's probably going to go ahead and make a change here.
That will be the case. New pitcher for the Cyclones. It's Texas 2 on the board here in the 4th inning. 2 runners on with just 1 out. Introduce you to the new arm when we come back.
Wolper had the idea of trying to get the double play right off the shoot. She reads it right. Unfortunately, she forgot the runner on third, and runner on third broke home right away. I think it wasn't until she heard her second baseman call out 4, and at that point, too late with Hathaway's speed.
So the fielder's choice, RBI for Ellis, who will get a pinch runner. Tuesday, Dare Margosian coming in for her.
Going back through Iowa State's contest, I just feel like this game right now is exactly what Coach Pinkerton said. He said they kind of seemed rattled. They needed to settle in. This isn't the type of softball they're used to seeing. I mean, they went in and they played Florida State. They only lost by 1-0. They've not been run ruled all game, so all year, and their fielding percentages look good. Their pitching staff's only given up 12 home runs. They're not giving up a lot of runs.
Played twice, Florida State. You mentioned the 1-0 loss. The other one was a 5-0 loss.
The only run ruled was they run ruled Utah State.
It's a scouting report on Shawzek.
She's only going to top out around the high 50s. Again, this whole staff, knowing that they've only given up 12 total home runs, they're all drop ball pitchers. They keep the ball at the knee or below. They've got changeups. Their game is to keep batters off balance.
Five home runs on the year for Mary Iacopo.
How about that on a 3-0? She's been pretty spot on. Although she's 0 for 2, both of at-bats have been line drives right to center field. Hard shots nonetheless.
Team high in home runs for the sophomore from Carson, California. Sits on ball 4.
If there's anything, if you're Texas watching Shazek throw, is that you've got to be patient. There's a couple changeups in that at bat. You've got to keep your weight back. Maybe scoot up in the box a bit.
So bases loaded for Lauren Burke. Cuts it the first one. Chance for 2. The force at home taken by Casey Simpson. That'll get the second out of the inning and prevent what would have been the 4th run of the frame for Texas.
A little surprised Lauren Burke swinging at the first pitch there with bases juiced. New pitcher, knowing that she wasn't going to top out over 60, just make sure you got your timing.
Single to run scored for Parker. It was her first time up. Bosworth keeps that ball in front of her.
Bosworth doing a heck of a job back there tonight. She has had quite a few balls in the dirt with runners on. No one's been able to advance on her. The only stolen base was Hathaway, and that's because it was a 1st and 3rd situation.
First time up this season with the bases loaded for the true freshman Mackenzie Parker. Last time up, grounded out to second. All 4, so that will push across a run. Trot again. Dara Margosian. Texas, 7-0. So Texas is hit around here in the 4th. Back to Rhodes, who started it out, being hit by a pitch.
It's a nice timeout there. Sammy Williams calls it on her own. It's the leader there in the defensive side. Go chat with her pitcher, because right now, probably just a, hey, go right at these batters. Let them hit themselves out of this inning. Can't defend walks.
Rhodes underneath. Shallow center. Casey Simpson there to make the grab. Texas strikes with 4 in the 4th. They've been dynamite in the 4th this season.
Up 6 strikeouts. She's doing it with the rise. She's hitting her corners. She's keeping these Cyclone batters off balanced and guessing all night, and really just working ahead and throwing hard. Hit 71 multiple times tonight. Something tells me spring break did Miranda Ellis good, huh, Tyler?
Absolutely. 4 innings, 6 strikeouts for Ellis. Mentioned top of the show, Texas pitching staff came in having thrown 3 consecutive shutouts. First time the Texas staff has done that since 2017. No runs over the last 21 in the 3rd inning, so tack 4 more on top of that now. Math with Megan.
Wasn't paying attention.
25 in the 3rd.
Sorry.
Anyway, big picture. Texas.
I was trying to figure out the last time she threw a ball, basically. Got behind the batter.
Well, there's one right there.
There you go. Sorry, Tyler. Math with Megan flunk.
It's 11 consecutive. Parker gathers. Burke holds on to the ball to make it 12 straight batters retired by Ellis. That's what we showed you. Top of the show, the Texas starting pitching over the last 3 games. If you're a coach, you have to just be in heaven getting that from your starting pitching.
Oh, yeah, and let's not forget old Shaylin O'Leary, the freshman in the middle. A minuscule .38 ERA, which leads the nation right now. 9-0. What I love, and maybe this is why you see a really fired up Ellis. You get a freshman coming in here. She's throwing really great. It's a healthy competition. I think Coach said it to us. Bollinger there in the pen, getting some work in. But at first, O'Leary was fighting. Maybe is she going to be the number 2, number 3? Then she worked her way in the number 2. Now is she working to be the number 1? And when you do that, I mean, you got to love it as a coach, as long as your players understand that that is the healthy competition. And you do. You have to have multiple arms in your staff this day and age to play softball. These 3-game series, you go deep into games, into season. You need more than 1. Heck, you need more than 2 pitchers to make it far.
Make it 13 consecutive. Another strikeout for Miranda Ellis, 7th on the evening.
There's that rise ball. That's looking so good. Coming into this year, Tyler, everyone talked about Miranda Ellis, that she throws hard and she's a drop ball pitcher. She gets a lot of ground balls. Well, tonight we're seeing a rise ball pitcher, and she is doing a heck of a job stair-stepping it. She's getting it called for a strike, and then she's able to move it on up the zone.
Strikeout in every inning for Ellis. 3rd and the 4th inning with 2 strikeouts. An efficient 2, 13 of 16 batters have gotten first pitch strikes. Miranda and Simpson already in the dugout. Stites trying to break this run. Ellis is on, and Megan, I love the point that you made and the point that Coach Mike White had made to us. See the competition against other teams and how players respond to that, but it's the competition that we don't see. When these teams are working throughout the week and putting in the time that then shows on the field, the motivation you get from going up against your teammates, or even looking and saying, hey, look at the stat sheet and Shea Lincoln and say, well, you know, I'm .38. Where are you at?
Exactly. And the other part is yeah, it's a team. You want players to be that want to be the ace. You want players to want to be the starters.
This one boomed out to left field. But just foul.
I think it got the car out there.
Stites caught that one.
It's one of those, you're like, all right, well, just a long strike.
Well, and for the car owner, as long as it's a quarter panel or a door, real well, not a window.
Yeah, I don't think there's a window.
might have heard it. Just a dramatic foul ball, 1-2. Rears back and hits 71 again. Does Ellis, so 63 pitches in, still gassing it.
It's a changeup. That's a nice looking change. I feel like another thing she does so well there is deceptive. Coming in at 59 when you're throwing 71. That's all you need to do is shave about 10 miles an hour off. It gets a nice little drop at the end too.
7th pitch of the at-bat. Tied for the longest for Cyclone batter, and it goes in favor of Ellis. 14 consecutive batters retire on LHN. Stream it live on the ESPN app. Figures to be great weather across the course of the weekend to kick off conference play here in Austin. Tyler Denning, Megan Willis. Texas with a 7-0 lead as we hit the bottom of the 5th inning. Couple changes defensively for the Cyclones. Sydney Stites to second, Taylon Lewis to first. And Michaela Ramos over to third. That's Stites you see there at second. Caitlin Washington reached on a fielder's choice in an air, scored both times. For Texas to put a runner on and score here in the bottom of the 5th would end the ball game by virtue of the run rule.
It's a heck of a changeup. She goes back with it again. So right now, I think that's exactly what you saw Shannon Rhodes fly out on. If you're Texas, you're getting ready to hit. It is really imperative you get your timing right now, whether in the dugout, on deck.
Blasted back up the middle, off the hop, Washington on.
It's a great job by Washington, especially after those first 2 pitches, way out in front on that changeup. This is supposed to be on the outside corner, and she's able to drive it right on the back up the middle.
So Washington on, representing the game-winning run for the pinch hitter, Becca Alcozer, senior from Belton, Texas. .302 on the year is Alcozer.
And in this situation, she's being put in to hit a home run. They are looking to get that 8-run roll right now. She's done a great job as a pinch hitter. She started the season that way. She worked her way into the starting lineup.
2 home runs on the year. Last year led the team with 5 for the 6-time Houston Texans punt, pass, and kick champion.
How many times?
She won 4 times. She competed 6 times.
Gotcha.
She won at the national level when she was in 6th grade.
That's awesome.
She's also fed the Texas fans free tacos. Talk about that home run hitting prowess. Take a walk off of Shawzet. So the taco sign will remain unharmed.
I get your joke now, a minute later. Because literally it's her parents and her brother that's out there that's usually grilling and literally feeding the fans tacos too. feel like he was just rolling his eyes at me. Come on, Megan.
Come on, math with Megan. To the top of the order, and Hathaway. Runs batted in, 18 would be ball game. Win number 27 on the year for Texas. Takes a strike.
Nice job by Shazak coming back and going right at Hathaway after throwing 4 straight balls to Alcozer.
Texas 15-7 all time in Big 12 openers. They've won 9 of their last 11. That one deep into center. Washington thought, but not enough real estate there. 1 down. Third time Texas has started their conference slate against the Cyclones. Iowa State has won both of those. Back up the middle, bounces off the glove of Shazak. Looked at third. Didn't feel as if she'd have enough time to get Washington, so turned, but Jefferson well down the first baseline, bases loaded.
Yeah, unfortunately, this ball gets right back to her, and though she gloves it, she probably would have had time at third. No one was at third to cover the bag. You have Ramos, the new third baseman, over there who needs to make sure she gets back to cover.
Team high 16 multi-hit games for Janae Jefferson. Miranda Ellis.
Shazak just missing. Even the ones to Alcozer were pretty close.
Reached via fielder's choice. Did get an RBI, Ellis, her last time up. Singled first time up, sandwiched in between that was a fly ball to right field. Chance to end the evening early.
I was like, come on, math with Megan, a grand slam, that's a way to end it. Oh my gosh, I think Texas has had such a hard time hitting their home runs at this stadium here at Brad and Charlene McCombs, but that ball was smoked off of Ellis's bat for a grand slam. She gets a no-hitter. Someone needs to give her some pie tonight, some cake, or don't give her anything. Whatever she did, keep it the same.
You had seen it early. You said that Ellis had a little extra juice in the circle. We saw the juice on